Good day, and welcome to Q4 FY2024 earnings conference call of CG Power and Industrial Solutions Limited, hosted by IIFL Securities Limited. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on a touch-tone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Ms. Renu Baid Pugalia from IIFL Securities Limited. Thank you, and over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of IIFL Securities, I would like to welcome you all to the fourth quarter FY24 earnings conference call of CG Power and Industrial Solutions. Today from the management, we have with us Mr. N. Srinivasan, Managing Director, Mr. Sushil Todi, Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Ramesh Kumar, President, Industrial Division, Mr. Mukul Srivastava, President, Power Systems, Mr. Ajay Jain, Vice President, Transformer Division, and Mr. Chidambaram Balakrishnan, Vice President, Railway Division. Without taking much time, I now hand over the call to Mr. N. Srinivasan for his opening comments, after which we can start with the Q&A. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Yeah. So thank you, Renu. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Let me extend a warm welcome to you for this Q4 and FY2023-2024 annual earnings call. I am Natarajan Srinivasan, Managing Director of the company. I would like to introduce my colleagues who are with me on this call. Ramesh Kumar, President, Industrial Division; Mukul Srivastava, President, Switchgear Business; Ajay Jain, Vice President, Transformer Business; Chidambaram Balakrishnan, Vice President, Railway Business; Sushil Todi, and CFO. So, company performance. Q4 performance in FY2023-24 of Q4. Sales grew year-on-year by 17% and PBT grew by 25%. For the financial year 23-24, sales grew by year-on-year by 16% and PBT grew by about 24%. Now, Q4 performance, standalone. Aggregate sales for the quarter were higher at 2,084 crores, recording a growth of 17% year-on-year. Profit before tax, before exceptional items, was at 316 crores as against 252 crores in Q4 of FY23. Margins were higher year-on-year by 15.2% of sales as against 14.1% of sales last year, on account of higher realizations, favorable product mix, and cost efficiencies in power systems. Free cash flow generated during the quarter was 178 crores. Unexecuted order book as of March 31st, 2024 was 45% higher year-on-year at 6,276 crores against 4,319 crores as of March 31, 2023. FY24 performance. Aggregate sales for the year were higher at 7,660 crores, 7,610 crores, recording a growth of 16% year-on-year. Profit before tax was at 1,146 crores as against 927 crores in FY23. Margins were higher year-on-year at 15.1% of sales as against 14.1% of sales last year, on account of higher realization, favorable product mix, cost efficiencies, and execution of export orders with better margins in power systems and higher other income. This was partially offset by pricing pressure in low-tension motor business due to increased competition. ROCE for FY24 was at 37%. Free cash flow generated for the year was 784 crores. Segment-wise performance, Q4 performance. Aggregate sales for the quarter were higher at 1,263 crores, recording a growth of 6% year-on-year. PBIT was at 173 crores in 13.9% of sales as against 188 crores, 15.8% of sales in Q4 FY23. Margins were lower year-on-year on account of pricing pressure in low-tension motors due to intense competition. Unexecuted order book as of March 31, 2024 was 28% higher year-on-year at 2,544 crores versus 2,040 crores as of March 31st, 2023. FY24 performance. Aggregate sales for the year were higher at 5,015 crores, recording a growth of 10% year-on-year. PBIT was at 748 crores as against 748 crores, 16.4% of sales in FY23. Power systems. Q4 performance. The aggregate sales for the quarter were higher at 821 crores, recording a growth of 39% year-on-year. PBIT was 152 crores 18.5% of sales as against 75 crores, 12.7% of sales in Q4 of FY23. Margins were higher year-on-year on account of higher realizations, favorable product mix, cost efficiencies, and better operating leverage. Unexecuted order book as of March 31, 2024 was 64% higher year-on-year at 3,731 crores as against 2,279 crores as of March 31, 2023. FY24 performance. Aggregate sales for the year were higher at 2,598 crores, recording a growth of 28% year-on-year. PBIT was at 416 crores, 16% of sales as against 227 crores, 11.2% of sales in FY23. Consolidated results include performance of the operating subsidiaries in Sweden, Germany and Netherlands, CG Adhesive Products India, CG Semi Private Limited India and other non-operating and holding subsidiaries. Aggregate sales for the quarter were higher at 2,192 crores, recording a growth of 15% year-on-year. PBT was 307 crores in Q4 of FY24 as against 262 crores in Q4 of FY23 and 264 crores in Q3 of FY24. FY24 performance. Aggregate sales for the year were higher at 8,046 crores, recording a growth of 15%. PBT was at 1,137 crores, 14.1% of sales, as against 950 crores, 13.6% of sales in FY23. Summary. In FY 2023-24 was another record-breaking year with the outperformance across financial and operating parameters. Several landmarks were achieved by the business. Switchgear and transformer business achieved highest ever sales, highest ever order input and profits. Railway business achieved highest ever sales, order input and profits. Increasing market share of motor business on a higher base and against a stiff competition. Highlights of the year include company received approval from the Union Cabinet under the semiconductor scheme to set up an outsourced semiconductor assembly and test OSAT facility at Sanand, Gujarat. The estimated investment of the project over a period of 5 years is 7,600 crores. The same is expected to be funded by a combination of government subsidies, equity contribution, and the potential bank borrowings as required. Renesas Electronics Corporation Japan and Starz Microelectronics Thailand are the technology and joint venture partners for this venture. India Ratings upgraded company's long-term credit rating from AA stable to AA plus stable. The company declared and paid interim dividend of 199 crores, 1.3 per share in March 2024. The board of directors also approved an expansion of capex for switchgears in the Nashik plant at 155 crores. Power transformers in Bhopal at 31 crores and HT Motors Bhopal at 35 crores. Total expansion of capital approved. Capex expansion approved till date is 662 crores. During the year, the company sold its subsidiary at QEA LLC for the entire sale in America. Entire sale profits have been realized. Unaudited financial statements. Financial statements with detailed notes are available at stock exchange filing on the company's website. Between myself and my colleagues will be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask question may press star and 1 to ask question. If you wish to remove yourself from question 2, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll wait for the moment while the question queue assembles. First question is from the line of Mohit Kumar from ICICI Securities. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir, and thanks for the opportunity. My first question is on the order inflow for this particular quarter, especially for industrial, is up by 33% QOQ and 45% YOI. Can you please throw some more details on this industrial uptick? And is it because primarily of railways or is ex-railway business which has shown the uptick?
So the industrial consists of both motors and railways. So that's why a large part of the order inflow has come from railways. So that speaks of the higher order inflow for this quarter.
But sir, last few calls you You had said that the industrial motor business is slightly on the, in the sense, there is a lower activity. Are you seeing any uptick now, or do you think this will come post the elections?
Exactly. So we feel that the situation will be clearly known after the elections, because right now, because of the elections, the activities and some of the projects going slow, etc., are quite visible. So I think we will have to wait for one more quarter then for the activity to pick up.
So thank you. So my second question is on this semiconductor opportunity. Is it possible to comment on the timelines when you think you'll be giving us more details, or when do you think the revenues will start flowing from this particular segment? And if you can help us to understand what is the right to win in this segment.
What is the
right to win?
So I think one thing, it is a long gestation project. It takes about 4 years to implement the project. So right to win is, I think there is a huge amount of demand. The fact that government wants these projects to come up with a substantial help from them speaks of a huge demand. I think the whole semiconductor industry is growing globally, is growing. India also, with no complete dependence on imports. They expect it to be a good amount of demand. So if we are able to, we are also partnering some of the world leaders with some amount of buyback of the finished product. So with all this, we expect, I think once the project is well implemented, I think there is a right to win always. That should not be a problem.
So when do you think the revenue is to start flowing in?
Not clear. Can you repeat?
When do you think, sir, the revenues from this particular segment will start contributing to the top line?
It will take 4 years at least.
Understood, sir. Thank you and all the best, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Rahul Gajaria from Haitong Securities Limited. Please go ahead.
Thanks for the opportunity. Sir, can you talk about the volume growth in the industrial segment? Because I believe that given the competition, we've seen pricing pressure. Can you talk about the volume growth that you have seen in the fourth quarter and full year, and also whether the competitive intensity have already eased to some extent? That's the first question.
Yeah. From quarter 3 onwards, it has shown positive. Quarter 3 standalone is about 15%. And so far, January and February, the results have come. The growth results have come. It is almost about 12%. The market growth, I'm talking about volume growth. And we are also at the same level. CG is also at the same level.
Okay. And the intensity have begun to ease?
No, that will because if you see the copper also prices have suddenly gone up in last 1 month, one and a half months. It has gone up by almost $1,000. So as long as the commodities are stable, it is very difficult to predict the price realization in the market.
Right. So my second question is, with respect to the revenue on the industrial segment, I think in the third quarter you did indicate that there was some revenue deferral of almost some 35 odd crore rupees. First, whether that revenue deferred has already been booked in the fourth quarter, and are there any more deferrals that also you are seeing in the industrial segment?
No, we never said in the industrial system. It was always about the power system.
Okay, so that 35 crore was in the power segment.
Yeah, sir.
Okay. So my last question is on, given that you are adding significant capacity both in transformer and motor, and I think transformer was supposed to get commissioned in the fourth quarter. Are there any thoughts on adding manufacturing capacity on the drive side, given that there is a strong industrial demand and limited players and obviously better profitability? What's your thought on adding capacity in India? Because right now your Sweden capacity is full.
So we are working on various options to increase, to grow this drives business. This could be, we have a unit in Sweden. So along with them, how do we increase, etc. Currently under discussion. Certainly, our focus is to grow this business multifold. We have not formed up our actions yet. It may be including increasing of capacity, may be one of the options.
But are you looking at doing some manufacturing in India, or you are looking at adding capacity in Sweden?
No, so currently it's not yet finalized. We are just looking at various options.
Sure. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, and all the best.
Thank you. Before we take the next question, a reminder to all participants, you may press star and one to ask question. The next question is from the line of Subhadip Mitra from Nuvama Wealth. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir, and thank you for the opportunity. Firstly, sir, with regard to the power segment, which is quite strong in the current quarter, margins are also seeing an uptick. Would we say that margins are maintainable in these high teens range, or is it that there is, some one-off in this quarter?
So there is no one-off actually. By and large, if there are, as I said, in all these, just my colleague in the previous questions, he said copper prices have gone up. If by and large, if the material prices stay where they are, I think we may be able to maintain margins in the segment as projected.
Understood. Also, with regard to the railway segment, because as you mentioned earlier, that the railways and the power segments seem to be the larger or the high growth segments right now, whereas probably the industrial segment is on a slightly lower pace of growth. So how would you see the overall margins behaving? Would we see that the higher growth and the higher margin power and railway segments more than offset, the slight weakness on the industrial margins?
So we have discussed this margin question number of times, sir. We can't assume that the margins in industry will be lower. Post elections, as we said, if things improve dramatically, it can come back. We are a very high volume player. We have the advantage of economies of scale in motors. Therefore, we can't say that motors, whatever is there in the last couple of quarters, based on that, I am not willing to conclude margins should be lower in motors, number one. Railways and power both are tender business. I don't get my price separately. I have to bid to win the order. Therefore, in railways, for example, again, there's a stiff competition. If I quote well and then, competitively, I will get volumes and then orders will flow. But at the same time, margins, you have to work on. It is not granted. Compared to price, what we get, supposing you get lower price, you have to work how to manage the cost and how to make up the volume, etc. It's not going to be easy. So overall, I think we are doing our best. So no difficult to comment on margins.
Understood. And so would you be able to give us some details on the railways business? What was the top line or what is the existing order book?
So I would say that we will have a strong growth this year. At least we can grow 40% in the top line in railways.
And what was the sales in the current year in railway?
Current year sales,
So for the full year, it remains the same range, around 1,300 crore plus.
Okay. And any details on the order book? How much order book would you have right now in railway specifically?
So I have told you now that we will be able to grow about 40% this year. We don't generally separately discuss railways.
I understand. So last piece, naturally, we've been quite enthused by how you've been tying up on the various offerings on the railway side and clearly targeting to being a propulsion partner in the forthcoming bid. So, sir, any progress on that in terms of tie-ups or with regard to railways, qualifying or sanctioning your prototypes?
So we are not in a stage where we can disclose something, but all the efforts are continuing at an advanced stage.
Perfect, sir. Thank you so much for answering my questions.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Harshit Patel from Equirus Security. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, sir. So on EV motors front, you had earlier indicated that the supplies might start post FY24, maybe in 25 or 26. So could you share an update on the development program and the potential customers?
Yeah, we have for one application, we don't want to disclose right now, but we have developed one application. It is on protos are under testing. And another two different applications we are in advanced stage of design. So we will be, once the testing everything is done, then we will be giving to one or two OEMs for testing and getting the approvals, so that we can be in the market.
So, sir, not only the motor, but even controller will be in-house?
Yeah, when I say motor, it is motor and controller. We don't develop anything separately. It is all developed together.
Understood. Sure. So, secondly, on the railways front, we were working with a Korean company for the propulsion system of train sets. So, how has been the progress over there? And do we have to pay a royalty to that company on a continuous basis, or we will just pay a one-time fee?
We can't disclose all this information. We can't disclose.
Okay.
But the work is going on. We'll get it will get commissioned completed in the next maybe by June or so. But we can't disclose all commercial information.
No problem. So just a small bookkeeping question. You had previously mentioned that we want to take the share of exports to around 20% within motors in the next 3 to 4 years. So what was that share of exports in financial year 24?
So we are somewhere around 3 to 4% as of now, but we are now working on building the organization across. So we are on track.
So this has to be co-terminus with the capacity expansion. We can't take any steps now. Supposing we get orders, we will not be able to supply. So the target is to do it in the next couple of financial years and beyond.
Understood. Perfect. I'll get back in the question queue. Thank you very much for answering my question.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Renu Baid from IIFL Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you for the opportunity, sir. My first question is, given the global demand-supply mismatches in the power equipment market, especially T&D, how do we plan to leverage this and also increase our exports? Do we have any thoughts on this?
Oh, thoughts are there, but there are no capacity now.
Yeah. So practically from on-ground capacity, where are we in terms of setting up an export facility beyond the domestic demand requirements in the next couple of years? So do you think our hands are full with domestic and export is at the back burner for now?
No. So currently, our power transformer, we are doubling from 17,000 MVA to 34,000 MVA. Similarly, distribution transformer, we are also doubling increasing capacity by 50%. Even if I double it from here, domestic demand will eat away all this demand.
Correct.
Selectively, only what we are doing is only selective orders with high margins and where payment security is there, we are considering for exports. So we are struggling to see how we can expand the capacity. There are no inorganic opportunities much. Organically, if you start doing it will take more time. Just current expansion will have to be completed before we take up something else. So it's today the question is really different.
Got it. Sure. Secondly, within the industrial system, we also have the consumer product portfolio which is housed. Can you share some inputs in terms of how was the performance of this segment for the fourth quarter and overall for fiscal 24?
Overall, this year I think the industry itself did not do well. So we have also not that much well. So it is in fact, this business was always last 2 years it's been small, and then we are a marginal player here. But plans are afoot to make this big. We are working hard. You will see some actions here from now onwards to increase this business. Ramesh, you want to add?
No. I mean, what you said is right. That as rightly NS said, we have initiated the action, and definitely you will see something happening there.
So was this business flattish? It grew by mid-teens, did not grow. Any color, qualitative or quantitative?
So de-grew.
Okay, declined.
Or marginally grew. We have industry de-grew. Yeah, we have marginally grown actually. Yeah.
Got it. And secondly, on the industrial systems, do we have any views on the likelihood of implementation of the shift from I2 to I3 range of motors as a base technology base, or it's still some time away for now?
The complete shift can happen only if the government regulation comes. But today, if you see, almost IE3 and IE4 together is crossed 50%. So obviously now customers are looking at more and more high efficient products. So once the regulation comes, then entire shift will happen to IE3.
And any view on the likelihood of this regulation coming in fiscal 25?
It would have come long back, but we don't know.
Got it. One last, if I can squeeze in. So, as we did mention about our targets to expand the portfolio of the HT motors in larger applications like nuclear power, in terms of pre-qualifications and other criteria. So, where are we, and do you think with many large NPCIL projects lined up in pipeline, we'll be able to participate in the opportunities?
And we are already participating and we are getting good orders also, but execution will take time because these orders execution takes almost about 2 years. Today, if we get the order, the execution starts after 2 years. So we are well in NPCL and we are there in almost all the tenders and we are getting good orders also.
Got it. Thanks much and best wishes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Akash from Dalal and Broacha. Please go ahead.
Thank you, ma'am, for the opportunity. One question from my side was pertaining to railways. So in railways, we cater to which kind of trains? Are we catering to Vande Bharat and the new Vande Metro, and are our motors being supplied to those kind of trains, or?
Motors are not supplied. So, Chidambaram, you want to answer this question?
Yes, sir. Currently, we are, serving the locomotive market, and end of this year we will begin serving the Vande Sadharan, Vande Metro, and Vande Bharat, all the three.
Okay, and what exactly are we supplying? Drives, transformers, motors, switchgears?
For the Vande Bharat, we will be supplying entire propulsion system, motors, and the motors.
Okay. That's great, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Aditya from Kotak Securities. Please go ahead.
Sure. Thanks for the opportunity and congratulations for very strong results. My first question was more to think through the timeline for the new capacity for the motors business. When are they expected to start contributing to our top line?
So it will happen in stages. I think probably next financial year.
Understood. So basically exports should start kind of becoming better from fiscal 25 is what you're suggesting, right?
Yes.
Understood. Could you also give us an overall guidance on revenues for next year? Would be useful.
We don't give any guidance.
Understood. Just on the quarter gone by, since you suggested that railways had meaningfully contributed, could you give us a sense of, from an order inflow perspective, where is growth happening at this point of time?
So we have given the press release. You already given what are the order inflow and things like that. Complete details of what is the unexecuted order book and the order inflow. Both the details have been given. Power sector as of now, and also the railways, all the three of them have got good orders.
Understood. Just a final question from my side. Just because you said that there was a deferral of revenues in the power segment, should we be seeing margins at the average level of third quarter and fourth quarter, or do you think that the 19% margin in the fourth quarter is also sustainable?
I think we answered this question earlier. So it depends on the way the commodity prices are flowing. If the prices go up, my colleague also mentioned that copper prices have gone up by 10% in the last 1 month or so. So it depends on the the commodity prices. If they are reasonable, they stay where they are, then probably we can hope to sustain these margins.
Sure. Just a last question from my side. On the automation side of things, so you talked about drives as being an imponderable in the near term. Kind of extending into the adjacent business of automation, when would that start becoming, let's say, an important focus area for us? Would it be FY25, 26? Just trying to get a sense.
So we can't commit on any timelines. We want to grow this drives business. We never said automation. We want to grow the drives business. I can't put any timelines.
Sure. Understood. Those are my questions. Thanks a lot for your response. Thank you.
Thank you. A reminder to all participants, you may press star and one to ask question. I repeat, you may press star and one to ask question. The next question is from the line of Garvit Goyal from Invest Analysis Advisors. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Am I audible? Hello.
Yes,
Am I audible? Good evening, sir. Congrats for a good set of numbers. My first question is on the power system. So we saw significant growth in power system in FY24. So at industry level, what is the outlook for FY25? Means how the things are shaping up? Are you still witnessing any kind of slowdown due to elections going ahead?
So power systems, we have both transformer and switchgear. So the order book, we have details we have shown, a good amount of order book, good amount of inquiries. We don't expect any slowdown here.
Okay, sir. And on semiconductor side, just to understand a bit from you, we are entering into OSAT. So when we say we are entering into OSAT, so does it mean wafer will come from outside India only, and we are there for assembly and packaging part? So if that is the case, can you explain who will be our potential customers here?
So this is too early to answer this question. This is a completely new line of business. So it will take some more time. I think this project itself will take about 3 to 4 years to complete. Maybe as we go, things will shape up, then we can share the information as we go on. It's too early now.
And lastly, sir, Mr. Ramesh has been recently appointed as additional director for a company manufacturing into power semiconductors. So is it any way related to your entry into OSAT?
What is he saying?
Anything which we can buy from that business.
Definitely, whatever our requirements can be definitely met. But our requirement will be a minuscule of what is going to be manufactured.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, and all the best for this.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Rajesh Vora from Genie Venture Advisors. Please go ahead.
Good evening, gentlemen. Mr. Srinivasan, is there a thought process given the significant amount of demand on the power and distribution side?
What is the question? Can you repeat, please? Question is, voice was not very clear. Can you repeat the question? Disconnected.
Thank you. I will take the next question. The next question is from the line of Avish from Chanakya Capital Services. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for giving me the opportunity. I just had only one question. The question was, can you give me the breakup of the motor and railway division in the industrial and also the transformer and switchgear breakup in the power systems?
Between the transformer, switchgear is 45-55.
Okay. And in motor and railways industrial?
Railway is almost 30% of the industrial business.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Bhavik Shah from MK Ventures. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hello, sir. So you just mentioned on the call that we are seeing a very strong demand in the transformer side, and even if you add more capacity, the demand will get eaten up. So what is stopping us from adding capacity? Is there any constraint which you are facing? Do you see this as a cyclical thing, so you're not adding?
No, we are already expanding from 17,000 MVA. We are expanding to doubling the capacity to 35,000 MVA in the power transformer. Similarly, in the distribution transformer, we are adding 50% capacity. So these are what we can do within the existing premises in our current setup. So this has to be completed, and then only then we can think where we can do extra, whether organic, inorganic, etc. It is not just like that. We cannot keep on adding capacities.
Okay. Right. And so you see the demand sustaining for the next 2-4 years in this sector, or like how do you see the outlook here?
I think this demand can be sustained for next at least 5 years or beyond that. I'm just saying, because it is all linked to derived demand. So what is happening in substations, what is happening in renewable capacity, new capacities are being created in the renewable energy segment. So like this, there are a lot of other activities are happening to increase the power capacity itself. Therefore, this demand for transformer and switchgear is going up on account of that.
Right. And so this is, you're talking about only for the domestic part. You can also cater to the export part, which is not even, like, we are not looking there right now, right?
So we are doing a little bit of exports. So both transformer and switchgear we are exporting.
Right. And so if we export, like, is there a difference in margin? Do we see better margins in exports, or like domestic margins and export margins are the same?
So it will be case by case, depends on delivery period, depending upon what is the range, currency. So many issues are there. But if the margins are lower, we will not export.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Abhineet Anand from 3P Investor Managers. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. This PT capacity increase, what could be the revenue potential for that, sir?
So, Ajay, you want to answer this question?
Yeah. So we will be doubling our manufacturing capacity, and so the revenues will also double over the next 2 to 3 years.
Just trying to understand on current pricing, what could that, let's say, 17K MVA that you talked about, incremental, what could that mean in terms of revenue on current pricing or commodity?
Should be around 1,800 crores.
And can you also help us with the DT capacity that we have presently and which we are increasing by 50%?
Yeah, the DT capacity as of now is around 5,500 MVA, and that will go around 8,500 to 9,000 MVA. And in revenue terms, we will grow from 450 crores to somewhere around 700 crores.
Okay. And when is both of these coming on stream, sir?
So it will take another 1 year, another 12 months at least.
Yes.
Okay. It's not in a phased manner. So the first revenue, apart from the 17K, will come, let's say, F26 only. From 17K to 34K that we are talking about will come in F26 only. Not, or will it come in a phased manner?
No, it will not come after completion only.
Okay, sir. Thanks for clarifying. Those were the questions.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Rajesh Vora from JNA Ventures. Please go ahead.
Chidambaram ji explained that by FY25 end, there will be Vande Bharat supply will begin, and will be of motors, propulsion system and all that. And this year we are expecting 40% growth as mentioned by Mr. Srinivasan. So could you explain a little bit in detail what is driving this significant growth, and are we directly going to supply a bid for Vande Bharat, or will be via other players?
Yes, sir. Vande Bharat, we will be supplying directly to Indian Railways and other companies we are discussing with, who got the complete train set orders. And this is how we want to enter Vande Bharat. Vande Bharat, Vande Sadharan and Vande Metros, they will be made by the rail coach factory in Kapurthala or modern coach factory in Rai Bareli or integral coach factory in Chennai. So we might be supplying the composite converters and motors directly to Indian Railways only to these production units. And what is driving the growth? Railways used to traditionally manufacture around 1,200 locomotives. They've gone up to 1,500 locomotives this year. And there is a limitation of approved supplier. Approvals in propulsion system generally takes around 3 years' time. So we are one of the approved suppliers. that gives us the privilege to increase the, we got the increased orders.
Wonderful. Other than your company, who are the other propulsion supplier approved for Indian Railways? Is it Mega?
So we cannot comment on that. We have no idea of who are the other companies.
Okay. Thank you. All very best.
Thank you. A reminder to all participants, you may press star and one to ask question. I repeat, you may press star and one to ask question. The next question is from the line of Amit Anwani from TL Capital. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thanks for taking my question. My question is with respect to you mentioning in your opening remark about the intense competition in LT motors. So just wanted to understand from you how much is the LT motors contribution, and within the overall motors market, since LT motors segment you mentioned is declining, any parts or any other industry where the motor demand is seeing ramp up, and how is our strategy to deal with the LT motor facing competition? Is there any product mix change which you are looking for? Anything you would like to highlight on the motor side?
LT motors forms the larger part of the overall motors. The motor size of the business, the LG motors occupy almost about 60%. So then, for your questions, product mix strategy, etc., I cannot disclose, no. We cannot disclose this in the call actually, and then, we will see the what kind of product mix, what the market wants, what product we should produce, where my contribution is higher. There are ever so many products are there, and what we will do, etc. These are internal, and we are working on this day in and day out. It's difficult to make those kind of details public.
Sure. So how much was the LT motors contribution in FY24?
Share, you are meaning share?
Yeah, within industrial systems, yeah.
I think it's 80%, 85%. If you take industrial systems, you take out railways, then it's about 70.
Okay. So in the remaining 70%, 85% from motors, right?
Correct.
And just one clarification on the railway side. So the 30% which is coming from railway is all coming from propulsion system. Is it right understanding?
No, we have different products.
Okay. Okay, sir. No worries. Thank you. Thanks for taking my question. Yeah.
Thank you. If there are no further questions from the participants, I now hand the conference over to Ms. Renu Baid for closing comments. Over to you.
Well, on behalf of IIFL Securities, I would like to thank the management and the participants for their interactive session. I would now like to hand over the call to Mr. Srinivasan for his closing remarks. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
No, so thank you. Thank you, Renu, and then other participants for their participation and asking questions. I have nothing more to say. Thank you again.
Thank you. On behalf of IIFL Securities Limited, that concludes its conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines. Thank you.